Good morning. Welcome back to this Q&A Thursday. I'm Kimberly. Thanks for joining me for this earlier Q&A Thursday. So glad that we could take a few minutes together to answer some of your questions. And I am here for you to answer your questions that you might have about parenting, doing school at home, working from home, how to balance all of the things. It's from my heart to yours. I am a mom who loves to help and loves to speak life into you and to help you speak life into your kids. So glad that we can be together. If you happen to be listening to this later today, then I would love for you to put hashtag replay in the comments below so that I know that you are listening in. And if this is helpful to you at any time and you think of a friend who could use the same encouragement, then I would love for you to share this Q&A Thursday with them. So let's get started into our questions today. And if you have any questions during the time that we are together, I would love for you to post those in the comments below and I can answer them for you. So our question for today comes from Melanie, and she asks, are routines important for children? Why are they important and how can I get started? The answer is yes, they are important. Routines set a pattern, a sequence of actions that we and our children can follow regularly. You can have routines for your morning time when they get up. Maybe they play a little bit before breakfast. Maybe they are older and they can get up and make their own breakfasts. They get themselves dressed, they brush their teeth, they brush their hair, they make their bed. That could all be part of your morning routine with your kids. You could have routines for bedtime where everyone takes time to tidy up the house, put away the toys, any laundry that might need to be folded, take their baths, brush their teeth. Maybe you have story time. Maybe you share about the day and their favorite parts of the day. Maybe you pray together. Maybe you rock them to sleep or you sing them a song to help them fall asleep. While childhood should be full of exploring and playing and learning and creating, children still need structure in their day. Structure through routines make them feel safe. There's a certainty and understanding about how the day will go. From a tiny baby, brand new baby, you establish a eating and sleeping routine with them, right? Just imagine for a minute if we fed our babies at any time of the day, random hours, when it was convenient for us. No pattern. Because we wouldn't do that, right? We establish a routine right away for our brand new babies. And a pattern of when they sleep, when they eat. And while the routine will change as our babies grow, as they become toddlers, as they eat real food, like whole foods, as they learn to crawl, as they stay awake for longer periods of time, then they begin to walk and explore and play with toys. That routine changes, but we still keep a routine. We still lay them down for naps. We still have times for them to eat so that they don't get cranky and whiny, right? All of those routines help there to be safety, assurance, and structure for their life. We've all experienced those days when everything is out of whack, right? Maybe you're doing house renos and the kitchen isn't done yet and it's hard to make meals. Or maybe you're running errands and they take a whole lot longer than we thought. Or maybe it's a later day in the office and maybe it's a family outing. Or you get lost on your way to the family outing. The drive takes way longer. Maybe a child is sick. All of those things kind of get us out of our routine and things get out of whack. Well, that's why a routine is so important. That's why those days are extra tough, right? Because we are off our routine. So, I encourage you to look over your days, maybe like with a bird's eye view. You're looking down and you evaluate and you say, okay, let's think here. What part of our days maybe feel a little out of whack? Maybe there's some extra emotions. There's extra drama. Maybe there's outbursts. Are we lacking a routine in those moments? Could we establish a routine to help things go just a little bit smoother? Or do we just need more communication or some pre-gaming? Maybe I didn't set my expectations around what was going to happen so that I could reduce the drama and the outburst. Those are good questions for us to ask and to evaluate in our days. Now, let's give some good, helpful tips around establishing routines. First, I would suggest that you be consistent with your routine so that it becomes a habit. I mean, we all know or feel as if we are reminding our children again and again and again to do the same thing. And we think, surely it should be a habit by now, right? So, establish your routine and do it over and over until it becomes a habit for your kids. So let's talk morning routine before school. Be consistent. Do the same thing every morning so that your children know to just get up and go to it. Lay the clothes out the night before, maybe that'll help. Put your backpacks by the door. Lunches are ready in the fridge. Prior to school this fall, maybe you could take a morning and you could, for like a week, every morning you say, hey guys, we're going to play a fun game and we're going to practice our morning routine for when it's time to go to school. You could make it fun. You know, you could celebrate when they get it all, right in order at the end of the week, and you would help. It's kind of like when we practice fire drills at school, right? You just know what to do automatically. That will really set your kids and your morning up for success. Another suggestion I have for you around routines is to establish trigger words. Words that when you say it right away, your kids know, boop, let's move into action. Let's do what mom tells us to do. So some of those trigger words could be like rise and shine. That means your morning routine. Go. That's better than being like, get up, get out of bed, time for school, right? So you could say rise and shine, and that be your trigger word. Or you could use for like your bedtime routine, you could say bedtime, and then go. You say those words, your kids know right away, let's start cleaning up our toys, let's go brush your teeth, all right? Let's get ready for bed. That's their go-to words. Now, I know that you're probably thinking right now, Kimberly, this all sounds really fine and dandy and easy, right? But you don't know my kids. Now, I didn't say that following a routine happens overnight. It takes time. It takes consistent effort, intention, right, to train our children, but it is possible. You can speak life over them. You can say, thank you for following my direction right away. When I say rise and shine, what should you do? And then they tell you what they need to do. I love it how when I say rise and shine, you are up and at it. Way to go. You're a rock star, right? You can speak that life over them. You're putting them to bed and you say, I can't wait for tomorrow morning when we can wake up and have a brand new day. And when I say rise and shine, you are going to get up and get ready for our fun day. You can speak that potential into your children. Our children have all different kind of personalities. So I want to give you some suggestions of how you can work through establishing a morning routine with the different personalities of your kids. So let's say that your child loves to have fun. I mean, they hardly sit still. They've always got a beat going on in their head. You know, they're always like tapping something. That's your kids. On the go. Okay, so you can turn your routines into a dance party. You can turn up the music. You can dance out as they dress, as they brush their hair, and as they make their beds. I mean, how fun is that? You can turn the music on all through the house, right? And have your morning routine every morning. Let's say that your child loves challenges and has to win. They need to be on top, like the A game all the time. They gotta win. Okay, so you can race them in making their bed. You could challenge them to see who can do their morning chores every day for a whole week without being asked. And then at the end of the week, you give them a prize. And then at the end of 2 weeks, you give them a prize. You recognize that they were successful in doing their morning chores every morning without being asked. And then in the 3rd week, you give them a prize. Keep going until it's their habit, right? Okay, let's say that your child is really neat and tidy and likes to have everything in order. First, I encourage you to speak to that. Tell them how much you admire that about them, that you are tidy and you have everything in order. And when you need to find something, you know right where it is. Then teach them how to make their bed real tidy, like smooth out the sheets and the blankets. Maybe you help them have a special spot in the bathroom for them to set out their toothbrush and their toothpaste and their hairbrush, just the way they like it. No one else, that's not anyone else's spot, that's theirs. You could encourage that in your children. If they have a heart to help out and they're so caring and they're thoughtful of others, speak to that in them. You can say, you have such a big heart of love to help. It helps us to have a smooth, beautiful morning when we do our morning routine. Let's do it together. Remember that your words are important. They matter. So establish trigger words like rise and shine, bedtime, or, time to go to the park, whatever your trigger words need to be, and then speak the life into them as you work through practicing that morning routine and establishing it to become a habit. Let's talk about vacation. We're in the summer and we're enjoying some vacation time. I hope that you get some time away. So how do we communicate or work through morning routines on vacation? Well, you communicate. You say it's okay that this week you don't need to make your bed. You can live in bed hair all day long. How cool is that? But when we get back home, we're back to our normal routine. Your choice how you want to establish that with your children. Maybe it's important to you that they keep doing all of those things, even on vacation, and so you establish that routine with them, or that expectation with them. You talk that over. Communicate your expectations around a deviation of your normal routine. So, and then this is still with that vacation idea. So when you get back home, the evening of your vacation, you're back in their beds, remind them, tomorrow morning, we are back to our regular routines. So when I wake up and I say, rise and shine, what are you going to do? So just remind them. Remember that whatever routine you establish, you must be willing to do it every day, especially bedtime routines. You want to know why? You already know why, because your kids come to expect it, right? If you read a story every night, they just might say to you, "But I can't fall asleep until you read a story to me." If you lay down with them every night to help them to fall asleep, well, are you going to be able to stay with them every night, lay down with them? They're going to want that, right? They're going to expect it. So can you sustain it? We don't always think of that when we start something, do we? So if you let them get up again and again to get milk or water to drink before they go to bed, they're going to want that every night. You get the idea. So think through your routine first before you put it into place. Let's talk another thing about bedtime, which I mean like time, real time. Let's talk bedtime. It is not my place to tell you what to do in your home, but here's my suggestion. It's important that our children, ages 3 to 10, 11, 12, are in bed early. It's not good for them, or for you, for that matter, for them to be staying up until 10 p.m., even on a Friday night. Children need their sleep. Oh, I love Mandy's comment. She says, Lily's listening in, and I think that having a sucker or candy should be my routine. Should be in my routine. I love that, Lily. You're so sweet. Okay, so children need their sleep. They need a good 10 to 12 hours each night. And you need downtime. You need time away from your kids, your own space, your own time for self-care, right? Your time for yourself. So how do you get that time to yourself if your children are up until 10 p.m.? You may say to me, well, if I keep them up late, it encourages them to sleep in late. And my answer to that is only you can determine the priorities in your home. Is sleeping a priority, like going to bed at the good time and getting full hours of sleep? Or is it okay in your house to sleep late into the morning? If bedtime is 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. and your children get up too early in the morning, well, you can take them back to bed. Make it a rule that they stay in their beds until 7 a.m. Let me tell you how we worked this out in our house. Karis was 3 and baby Natalia was on her way, and we needed to get Karis into a big girl bed. So we taught her that she didn't get out of bed until 7 a.m. or when mommy or daddy came to get her. So we gave her stuffies to play with in her bed if she woke up early, but she had to stay there. And I can remember all the mornings that I had to take her back to her bed because it wasn't 7 o'clock yet. I didn't punish her. I didn't get frustrated about it. I just stayed consistent. And I just took her back to her bed saying, it's not time to get out of bed yet, but I can't wait to come and get you when the clock says 7 a.m. or 7 o'clock. You snuggle here in your bed until I come and get you. It was a positive thing to stay in her bed until 7 a.m. It's all in your words and your tone of voice and how you handle it, right? So it worked. We were able to create that routine and that habit for 7 o'clock, staying in her bed. Then, when both Karis and Natalia were older, we gave them an alarm clock so that then they could see the 7:00 and know that it was 7 o'clock. We didn't make it ring at 7. We just told them they had to look for when the clock said 7 o'clock, and that was when they could get out of bed. So for me, in our house, I get up early to do my work. I get up before 7. And I have trained them that this is mommy's work time, not to interrupt. If they woke up early, and still today, I carry them back to their bed, or they can sleep downstairs on the couch. So they are 10 8 and 5, and like I said, I still do this today. Usually it's just Jonathan who will wake up really early, and only once in a while though. He's a good sleeper. And so then I will carry him back up to his bed, or I will let him sleep on the couch. But they know not to interrupt me. Natalia is 8. She's kind of taking after the early morning riser like me. So she gets up sometimes at 6:30 or 6:45, but she also knows not to interrupt me when I'm downstairs working. So when I come up at 7, she's at the dining room table. She is working on her schoolwork. If she has a question, she puts a little star beside the question, and then she asks me when I come upstairs. So that's the routine that we have established. Now, because Natalia gets up at like 6:30, 6:45 and is working away, she is the first one who's usually ready for bed. And she's the one who comes to me and says, I've already brushed my teeth. Is it time for bed? Can you tuck me in? So it's the trade-off there. So that you fully understand as well where I'm coming from. Our house has 3 bedrooms upstairs and then 2 bedrooms downstairs. One of the rooms upstairs is just inside our front door, and we use that for the tutoring room or the school room. And then there's 2 bedrooms down the hallway. We originally had the 2 girls downstairs in a bed in the basement, but it was a little far away, and they felt that it was far away, and they agreed that they would rather, this was a few years ago, that they would rather be upstairs. So all 3 children share a large bedroom upstairs, and it's been that way since. They like to be close. I like them close to me too. So that's how we work. Karis, who's 10, is starting to talk about wanting to have her own room. So I imagine that it won't be too long till she moves back downstairs. But that's how it is in our house. So I give you that little background because that's going to help to answer another question that we're going to talk about in just a minute. But I love to learn from other successful business people and what they do in their day, their routines, their disciplines. How did they get to the success that they have today? And every single one of them has a solid morning routine, is in bed by a decent hour, values their rest and their ability to be up and at it, like fully fueled for their next day. And I want that for me as well. And I want to do all that I can to set my children up for that same kind of success. So if I can be intentional now when they're young about establishing a good routine, a good solid morning routine, one that gets them good sleep, they wake up with a good attitude, right? Good emotional balance, joy, a routine that helps to avoid brain fog or weariness, good food that fuels their body, their day off to a great start. Why wouldn't I try to do that? Why wouldn't you? So that's why I value a good solid morning routine and why it's so important. Do we get it right every morning? No. Do some situations or whatever throw our morning off? Yes. Do sometimes. I admit on a rare occasion. Do I choose to sleep in? Yes. But I care about a good morning routine because it sets the stage, the atmosphere in our home for the rest of the day. I would love for you to share in the comments below about your daily routines. Tell us what works for you. Tell us what you're still figuring out. I would love to hear that. We are in this parenting journey together, and I hope you feel that this is a safe place for you to share those comments and for us to learn from each other. So let me answer one other question about routines before our Q&A Thursday is done. Thank you for listening in. So the question is, how do we deal with a bedtime routine when our children are close in age but there's a gap in their responsibilities and what they're capable of handling. So we're dealing with this as our older child is able to handle a later bedtime than the 7:30 set time for them right now. And it's tricky because he shares a room with his younger sibling, and that would disrupt his sleep. So good question. How do we handle our children sharing a room like my three, who are quite a bit different in age? So here's a few suggestions. One is if your bedtime routine is at 7:30 for the younger ones, try to stick to that as best as you can. I mean, life is life, right? But that way, when the older child gets their extra hour of sleep and is still going to bed at like 8:30 or 9, they still feel special and important, and it's amazing to be able to be older and to stay up later. There's a lot of pride in that, getting an extra hour to themselves. So try to keep that. He's still going to bed at a good hour, 8:39, but he has gotten his extra hour to sleep or to stay up. So if you can kind of stick to that would be helpful. If you have a spouse who is staying up later, your child can stay awake with them. Can you build a tent around their bed, his bed, to block out the light? I don't know if that's possible. Can he stay up for an extra hour somewhere else, like maybe in the living room or, a family room? One thing that we do for fun, as a little bit of a variety in terms of going on a date night with our children, we will do a mommy date night. And that's where they each take turns coming to my bed and they snuggle. It's their choice what they want to do. We bring coloring books and the markers to our bed. We have drawn together in my bed. We've had a stack of books and we just read through the books together. And I have done that with all of the ages. So even when Jonathan was younger, like 4, we have done that where he stayed up just an extra half hour or 45 minutes with me, and then I carry him to his bed. So it's fun, it's special, and they, get the fun privilege of staying up a little bit later. Sometimes it is a sacrifice on my part because, like I said, I like to get up early. So I'm not going to bed at the time I like, but it's really special and sweet. So maybe that's something you can do. So oftentimes my older daughter will do that, and she'll, lay in or sit in the bed and read with me while that gives her the chance to stay up for an extra hour, right? What I do know is to take the tagline of Marie Forleo, the phrase, everything is figure-outable. That really is the case. If you and your child can put your heads together and say, hey, what's the solution here? How can you, being older, get the fun privilege of staying up a little bit later? How can we work out a solution here? Everything is figure-outable. You can come up with a way to help them enjoy that privilege. I would love for you to share in your comment below what works for you in your house. It's so fun to hear from you. Remember that all through July and August, we are offering with our I Am Loved Kids Journal. This journal is for ages 7 to 13. Over 90 fun activity pages for them to stay creative. This is a journal that is meant to grow with them. So if depending on their reading level at 7, it's meant for them to keep and to come back to again and again. So we talk about overcoming fear in here. We talk about how to tell the truth versus a lie. What lie might they be believing, and what is the truth that they can speak instead of that lie? That's in there. We talk about what to do if someone makes fun of us. There are recipes in there, gratitude pages, places for them to keep their Speak Life badge. It's a really special book. So when you purchase that journal through July and August, they will also receive a tumbler for free. They can choose their colored lid and straw that they want, a $10 value for free with a $20 kids journal. So I hope you'll look into that. To get that tumbler free, go to speaklifebadges.com on our shop page and use the coupon code KIDSCLUB, and you can take advantage of that free tumbler. So we will see you next week. If you have any questions throughout the week, you are welcome to post them in the comments below this video, or you can email me at kimberly@speaklifebadges.com. I love hearing from you and helping you in any way that I can. Have a blessed day. I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.